My, what a race we had in Canada. Let's get into the recap.
É a máquina do tempo e na velocidade não tem igual. E num grande torneio de...
Dude, remember when Lando thought it was a good idea to start on
Don't even get me started.
on
Alex,
slicks?
we just started.
No,
We
hold on.
just
No,
started.
we want to talk about this. Did you see Adrian Sella's excuse? Well, if the race would have started when it was supposed to start. It's like, dude, what?
If,
What are
if,
you
if, my
talking
mother,
about?
if my mother had balls, she'd be my dad. Shut up, Andreas.
Well, here's the other thing too. Not to make this political, but like, are
I
you Karen,
knew
are you
what I was
Karen
doing.
Bass now? Like, what are you doing? Like, you like literally just made like excusatory dumb excuse and just pushed it to the side because you needed something to say to the media. It's like that is not at all what happened. You made a bad mistake, and what you need to do is own up to it and say we've got to be better.
Yeah, and I mean to be fair, I feel that Lando was a little bit more at peace because he himself said post race, I actually pushed this a lot.
Yeah,
and I know Oscar did not.
No, Oscar was on the radio going, guys.
10 minutes. He's like, guys, it's pretty dry.
Yeah.
But to be fair, my favorite quote of the whole entire weekend, including anything of George, any celebratory against George was, and I quote, I hope Zach Brown chokes on his dinner tonight.
The funny thing is, Zach Brown wasn't even there.
Baby. Exactly, I know.
He wasn't even there.
Indy, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was there.
He always
there
goes
was,
to Indy 500.
You could not catch Zach Brown any other place other than the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on Sunday. There was no way.
Well, let's be honest though. Zach Brown wasn't going to make any sort of judgment calls
100%.
on that, but
yeah, because he's an idiot. Nah, I'm kidding. He's actually a smart man.
Here's the situation, because here's the reality. So JW, you and I are both McLaren fans, and I was pretty cool, calm, and collected, although disappointed, and you were going off. I mean, I've never seen you so sassed up.
Yeah.
And so just from your perspective, because we're going to come from the same place as far as like the mistakes that were made, but here's, I think how we go about processing it may be different, because I kind of look at it this way, and maybe I'm kind of in the wrong at like looking at this. I'm looking at like 2-time Constructors championships 2 years in a row, world championship status. I kind of go like the pressure's off McLaren this year. I'm not saying that there wasn't a high expectation. There always is with that team because it's McLaren.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And also we're so used to making such poor judgment calls and really critical moments, right? For me, I just kind of looked at it and go, shocker. Like that's literally how I took it. I just went, shocker. Like I suspected something really stupid like this would happen. Didn't expect Lando Norris to DNF. That was very unfortunate.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the race start, I'm going, yeah, what else was going to happen? It was either going to be them or Ferrari that made a dumb mistake. Someone had to do it.
So here's I'm looking at this through two lenses, right? One, the McLaren fan lens. I was insanely disappointed, and as you mentioned, Corey, I was pretty pissed off on Sunday, especially because Lando had such a insane race start.
That was
on
a rocket
intermediate,
race start.
and mind you, on intermediates.
Yeah, on a
Like,
dry track.
on
So
a
if
dry
he was on
track,
softs, he would have
well,
still launched quickly.
Well, yeah, exactly. He would have launched quickly. I don't know if it would have been the same start, but
Agreed.
I'm attributing that mistake to that really good start. I mean, he said it himself, right? That costly mistake also gave us arguably one of the best starts this year, or as
However,
recently as I can remember. But at the end of the day, it's like, I'm not by any means justifying that decision. It was a dumb decision. It was clear as day that was a dumb decision. But at the same time, that start 5 or 6 laps into the race with a potential, let's call it 5-minute drizzle, changes the panorama completely. And you didn't really need rain per se. It's a short, very slick circuit that with a tad bit of rain, it just needed a tad bit of rain, dude. That would have been game changer.
Dude, honestly, I think Oscar put it so perfectly in the media pen post race. He said it's one of those things that if it like we could have come off as geniuses, or as idiots, and we came off as idiots,
yeah,
and that's okay. I think that's the other lens I'm looking at it through, is the Formula One fan lens. Would I love McLaren to win every single race? Absolutely. Like, as a deluded fan, that's 100% what I would want. However, I'm a fan of the sport as well. So I'm happy that it happened because it added some extra spice to the race that, mind you, the race didn't really need it. It was already spicy in itself.
I will tell you something though. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here for a little bit. Carlos Sainz led a group of people that also made the same exact mistake. When I texted you and I said, if the best decision is just rip the Band-Aid, go in, go back, and maybe do a pit stop race and try to salvage a P5, P6 maybe, that was very possible. Carlos Sainz did it, and he was stuck in traffic in the beginning. He was slow in the beginning, and then he just, the guy clawed his way back into a P9 from what, P16?
Yeah, he did. And to be fair, Lando was, if he wouldn't have DNF'd, Lando was on pace to probably finish P6 or P5.
100%.
He was ripping through people.
At that point, and exactly, I think, Corey, you mentioned it. You said, and
he
now
was lapped and still hanging with the Mercedes cars.
Exactly.
They were just pulling him along and just ripping through the field.
Yep.
But here's the thing. Like, this is kind of where I'm looking at a decision like that, and I totally understand it's either you look like geniuses or you look stupid. I think the reality is, and maybe it's more difficult to make those kind of split decisions if you are a front runner team. If you're Williams, you kind of have nothing to lose, right? If you're a bottom tier team, you can roll. I think you're more comfortable rolling the dice if you are a bottom tier team.
I'm with you.
And saying, let's try to just rip through the field if we can. But if you're McLaren, you've got to think a little bit more pragmatically about what's going on situationally.
Agreed.
And I don't think they did. I think they were kind of like, okay, let's roll the dice as if we were.
Yeah, but you see, here's
if
the
we
thing.
were Aston, and they made a terrible mistake.
I don't think so. If this would have happened last year, I would have been like, okay, McLaren, fine. However, you said it yourself, Corey. You are coming off back-to-back World Constructors Championships. You have a World Drivers' Championship on you right now. Those sort of mistakes are, we joke about it, but it's the truth, are the sort of mistakes that Ferrari makes. And listen, I don't want to dog on Ferrari because I don't have to, but it's true. It's true. However, I will say this. I think for the sport itself, I think it was great that they gambled. And also, you have to take this in mind. You have to make a decision 5 minutes before the formation lap.
Yep.
And when that decision had to be made, listen, I'm not going to sit here and make the argument that Inters were 100% the tire to go on.
But it was a 15 minutes, not 5 minutes. Because
are you sure?
No, because of the multiple formation
laps. Correct. But under normal circumstances, it's 5 minutes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What I would have done as McLaren is, given that Arvid Lindblad stalled on the grid, I would have gone to both of my drivers and told them, listen, we might have a chance to come in the pits, change our tires, and start from the pit lane, which, sure, starting from the pit lane is inconvenient, especially in a track like Montreal where there's a short run to turn one, but you're not losing as much time within the race itself.
100%, especially since it's such a short track.
Yep.
You started seeing that 30-second differential from like P7 onward.
Yeah, it was pretty short in the pack.
After like 10, 11, 12 laps.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it didn't take long. I think once it got down to like Colapinto, it really spread out big time.
Yeah, after that. But what I'm saying is a longer lap makes it a lot more complicated to catch up from the pit lane.
Yeah,
agreed.
I think a pit lane start would have mitigated a lot of the issues that they had. But granted, it was I don't know. I still don't know the circumstance of Lando Norris's car. Like what actually what failed?
It was
on his car?
It was a gearbox problem.
Gearbox issue, right? So that was likely going to happen regardless, right?
Exactly.
Like it didn't matter at what point in the race or where they started.
As a McLaren fan, I am very happy that what transpired with the tires happened, because if Lando Norris would have had a gearbox issue fighting for the lead of that race, because boys, let's make no mistake about it. Throughout the weekend, throughout the weekend, that McLaren looked 10 times more comfortable to drive than the Mercedes. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think Mercedes is in trouble. is as of today, if I'm not mistaken, that engine is no longer legal.
Yeah,
They need
correct.
to make changes before Monaco, which I'm sure they've already made the changes. They've mitigated for this. But Monaco's going to be, listen, one of two things can happen. Either we're going to see a Mercedes seriously fall off the pace, or we're just going to see it's the same old thing. Nothing has changed, and we're stuck with the regime.
The only the only problem is we're going into a track that it will be hard to notice.
Yeah.
True.
And if they are able to get, which
The qualifying lap will mean everything.
obviously, as it always is, if they
As
get a
always is.
decent one, right, and they're able to salvage a double podium or both within the P5, obviously it will motivate some other people and will motivate other teams, McLaren, Ferrari, and such. I don't think it'll be an immediate thing that we'll notice. But to your point, I think that's a very real thing. I just don't know if it's as much of a threat as they're right there with Mercedes. Because
Probably not at Monaco, but I think Barcelona is going to be a very telling track for
100%.
where, and then we
Yeah.
go
Well,
to Austria as well, and
Austria, I think, will be the one that will really tell us. Will showcase if there's actually a difference from this dominance. And I mean, it's more of a catch up. I don't think Mercedes are going to slow down. I just think
no,
Yeah,
not
other
to the
teams
point
will
where they're no
develop.
longer going to be
100%.
front runners.
I think these upgrades are going to
Well,
be way more developed in the last.
You had Mercedes that brought the most update. They brought the biggest update package to the Canadian Grand Prix, and the disparity between qualifying was collapsed quite a bit from what we've historically seen. And I also think that Red Bull is in a trajectory is allowing them to climb closer to the top as well. You're really going to have like 4 top teams if Ferrari can get their act together. You're going to have 4 teams that I think are going to be relatively close to each other that are going to interchange podiums consistently throughout the season, and then you're going to kind of have everybody else that's trying to catch up to end development.
Ferrari's problem is clearly straight line, like long straights.
Yes.
Like getting the power quick, as you see every single, I mean, progressively through the tracks, right? You saw it in Australia. You saw it. I mean,
Well, that's why Lewis had such a hard time with Verstappen.
And he was very vocal about it this time. He was complaining as usual, but you could kind of pinpoint exactly where he was complaining, and you tie
Give me
it
more
back.
powers was when he was in the straights. Is when he was getting foot back on throttle.
It's essentially the first 3 seconds of that long straight, because at the end of that straight he would catch up. So I think there's obviously the rotisserie chicken wing is maybe an actual serious advantage over the Red Bull one, over because
Very track dependent, though, Alex, in my
100%. But I'm talking about just focusing on long straights. They look better at the end of the straights, but they look like they lag like crazy, bro. The first 3 seconds of long straight, like they it feels like they're pushing the car, even if they're getting really good starts.
Yeah, I think there was 2 things.
Ferrari didn't have a good start this weekend.
No,
in neither the sprint or the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because the expectation was they were hot out of the gates. Like that was what they were.
But now
really good at.
if you ask me, now that's McLaren now.
Yeah.
Like McLaren has the race starts nailed.
Oh,
like they're dialed in, and regardless of the wrong tire choice or not, we saw it in Miami.
Oscar had a pretty good one.
Oscar had a good start too. Yep.
Oscar had a really good one in the sprint. His Grand Prix race start wasn't great.
No, his race start was great. He just got overtaken on a part going into turn 1 that he shouldn't have been overtaken on. But his race start was not garbage.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
I
think losing or gaining a position at the race start is like, it's not the end of the world unless you're on pole and you absolutely just
it wasn't worth, and it also wasn't worth. And I thought it was weird. Oscar Piastri, it wasn't worth compromising his race, although he compromised himself when he just darted into the side of who was it that he ran into? Albon. Yeah,
and he took Albon out. That's why he got a 10-second penalty.
That was completely unnecessary. There was no reason for that at all.
Yep.
So I'm like, you did the smart thing by being patient at the start of the race, and then you became a little overzealous later in the race and took another driver out.
That's still something he needs to work on.
If you see the onboard, you don't. I think, who was he taking? He was passing Lawson at the time. No, who was he passing before he hit? Like he was passing somebody, and
I don't remember.
Albon was on the left side, so it was blindsided from the onboard. You know there's a car, but you don't know if he's going to stop and get behind the car he was passing. So Albon did a late brake, passed this guy, whoever I'm referring to, And then Piastri went on the inside and then just
And
absolutely
that's where it
slammed him.
taps him.
He wasn't overzealous in the sense that he thought he'd get Albon too. He just didn't see him.
Was
If
it
you
at
see
the
it again-
hairpin?
Maybe
It-
that's what it was.
It look at the onboard from Piastri. You feel like they're three at the same time, right? He's got the inside.
And you're saying it's just blocking of his view, essentially.
Yes,
he
he
didn't
can't
understand what the
see-
distance was.
Correct. And he's based on that specific curve that's so tight, you really don't go, you go outside and in. So if you got somebody on the inside, somebody in the middle, I feel like his instinct told him this guy's going to like slow down and go behind the guy that he was overtaking. So because when he overtakes him, that
Yeah, I think you may have. Did you mute your mic?
I may have, yes.
There you
And he went on the outside and that's when he rammed into Albon.
Okay, I'll have to review that again because I'm
Yeah.
like
Still
trying to
rookie. Still rookie
reprocess it.
mistake, but
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like circumstantial, but obviously the stewards were like 10-second penalty, which I think JW, was it you that called it that like the message everyone were like, here comes a 10-second penalty. And I was like, yep, you
Yeah.
nailed it.
But boys, there is a man I want to talk about, and surprisingly, it's not George Russell. We'll get to
Fernando
George
Alonso?
of the Jungle. No. I want to talk about Charles Leclerc.
Did he race this
Listen,
weekend?
yeah, I mean, he might as well not have, honestly. But here's what I'm going to say about Charles. He was heavily. I think this is the most I've ever seen him off Lewis's pace since Lewis joined Ferrari.
Oh,
And
it was.
I had never seen Lewis that off Charles's pace. Not since he joined Ferrari.
It was
And
totally different.
but I do want to talk about. Listen, we've thrown Charles a lot of flowers on this podcast, and mind you, I think he deserves every single one of them. However, I've noticed something with Charles this season that I haven't seen before, and he's being a little drama queen.
He's married.
He was talking about the fact that this is probably the worst weekend in his Formula One career, and I'm
I saw
like,
that.
dog, I can
I
I
think
can
he said,
Have you
pinpoint-
crashed out in
I
Monaco
can
and lost the
pinpoint
race?
5.
I think he
I can
mentioned
pinpoint at least
toughest.
5.
I think he mentioned toughest, like
It
toughest
doesn't
in terms
matter.
of like car condition. But I don't
Toughest,
know.
hardest, worst in that perspective that he meant, it doesn't matter because he's had tougher race weekends than that. Okay,
Yeah.
like, and then again, seeing him spin around, which again, it looks so cool when he does it. Like we all loved seeing it, but it's 2 race weekends in a row that it happens. And
Yeah.
mind you, Miami, I think is a bit of an outlier because he lost 3 positions within the last lap and a half.
Yeah.
Thankfully, he was so far ahead of Isaac that it wasn't really an issue in Canada. But I don't know. I mean, we talked about it at the beginning of the year. Charles leaving Ferrari. After this weekend, I wouldn't say it's a crazy thing to speculate.
I won't
But
entertain
I think-
that.
I
won't
think we're-
entertain that.
I think we're.
I mean, personally, as Charles, I wouldn't entertain it either. I just don't think it would be crazy if it happened.
I
'Cause
don't think. I think it's too soon to even be.
It's
talking
too,
about
it's
that.
too soon, and I don't want to call it an anomaly. But if you look at it statistically, obviously he has that handle on Lewis every
Yeah,
single weekend
100%.
except for this weekend and -1 sprint race.
Yeah.
So I kind of look at him like if I'm Charles Leclerc, if I'm thinking this from a psychological perspective, he has had the upper hand. We'll call it the Alonso Stroll effect. He's had the upper hand on his opponent, his teammate, every single time, and then all of a sudden, not only it's not like they were 3 and 4 or 4 and 5 or 2 and 3. It was like Lewis Hamilton was how many seconds ahead of Leclerc? Like Leclerc just had nothing. He had
I
no
think it was
answer
like
anything.
30 odd seconds.
Yeah, there was no catching up. The pace wasn't there. Hamilton was just in this interesting flow state. Like you could tell he was very comfortable, and Charles
Yeah,
Leclerc
he loves that
was
track.
rattled.
He always has.
And this is part of it. It's like any given Sunday. Like I can use it for F1 interchangeably from football because they both fall on Sundays. But
Yeah.
I kind of look at it and go, is this like, I don't look at this as like this is going to be an issue that will continue or there's
Not at
more
all.
to come of this. I
Not
think
at
it's an anomaly weekend. He was just off, and once he gets his head out of the bullshit of the Canadian Grand Prix, toss that one aside, get on to the next race, and go get after it. And I
Yeah.
think he'll be right back into Leclerc form. I don't look at this as like, oh, Hamilton's got a handle on him now. Look at this. Although I did post a meme that suggested as such, but I do that just to piss people off. So I
your
look at
daddy?
it and go,
Who's your daddy?
like, yeah, I love doing it. It's so fun to make people angry.
Yeah.
But I look at this and I go, this is a one-off scenario that we should always
Yeah,
expect. We should
100%.
always expect this throughout
From
a
a
season.
7-time world champion, bro. I mean,
Exactly. From a guy who is the best of the
Questionably,
At
questionably 7-time world
At
champion.
one point, at some point, this dude was bound to get
Yes,
a result.
it was going to happen. Yes,
He
100%.
just because emotions run high, guys. Emotions run high. I don't want to say this to justify Charles because I like Charles or because I like Ferrari. Cool your jets, Tifosies. But emotions were running high, and
Yeah.
he was very frustrated with the vessel not performing. And it wasn't that the car wasn't handling and all these things. It was more like he just couldn't get the pace. And he was very humble about it in the sense of, I'm just going to go talk to Lewis because he's got the same car and I just wanted to see what worked for him. Yes, he was so dramatic when he mentioned how tough it was, but he wasn't referring on like it was the worst weekend. He
Yeah.
actually mentioned it was the toughest race for him. This has been the toughest race. I mean, a little
And
dramatic,
mind
yeah,
you,
sure.
There
but-
are worse places to finish for a toughest race of your career.
But
Yes.
Lewis caught himself. If you go back to his post race, I think it was one of the interviews. I don't know if it was a post race, but he was like, for sure, the happiest day of my racing career. He stopped for a second, and then he mentioned in a Ferrari.
Yeah, because his happiest day in his
He
career.
said that he was so happy. He picked up Kimmy. He was acting like, he was celebrating like the guy won a 8th world championship. He was so happy.
Yeah, he's
So
worked so
emotions
hard
run.
to get to a point of podium.
This
so
dude's
I
got
understand that.
won how many races? 110 races? Like,
Yeah.
I think it's
Way
like
more than anyone
104 or
else.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ton of races. I think this is a perfect moment to just segue into this. We've got a Kelly White today.
How are you getting all these?
I think it's contraband, honestly, Corey. I don't
Sponsor
even.
me. Kelly, I am a huge fan. I've never seen anybody carry a Kelly. This is actually probably one of my favorites. I don't want to say my favorite because I still want a sponsorship from 77, from Zinn, from all these other brands that we've showcased here. But Kelly White, this is like spicy. The aroma is insane. Oh, it's like hot cherry.
You're just gonna keep going one by one.
You know
Whatever
what it
Zen
is?
knockoff there is, you're gonna ask for sponsorship.
Dude, this is legit. You gotta try it. This is I think this is a
Supposed to
12
hot cherry.
grams. 12 grams. Pretty nice.
Jesus,
To the dome. Jesus Christ.
dude, that's a lot of nicotine.
I
Boys.
I smoke a lot of cigars. Obviously, you know that. Dude, I could do one of the 3s, and I'm like, I'm good. Like 12
Yeah.
is insane.
I can do 6, like if I'm really like mentally into it, but aside from that, nah.
They make me they
gentlemen-
make me diarrhea too quick.
God, I
That's
knew
my
this was
problem.
going to take a wrong turn. Let's go back to racing.
I'm just
yeah.
saying.
Speaking of racing, I think we have to address the Silver War that has officially started.
Can we
Yeah.
agree? Can we please agree with what Russell said and the fact that like the man upstairs is not on his side? Because dude, when you DNF like that to a reliability issue, circumstantially the guy's had some really bad luck, and I'm like, you may be onto something. But here's what I think it is. I think the fans' collective soul connected to a greater power
100%.
is making this happen.
I believe that. I wholeheartedly believe that. And listen, Carlos, as a Carlos fan, I've seen a lot of that, dude. I've seen a lot of Carlos bad luck
Yeah.
over the years, and it's back to whenever the guy's got a grip on something.
Remember when his engine blew up and he came, I think that was like off of a race win, and his engine just
Dude.
blew up in the middle of track and he couldn't get out
Yep.
of his car?
Oh, yeah.
Oh wait, was that in Austria? I think
Yeah, that was
it was at
two-
Ferrari, right?
Yeah, it was at Ferrari's 2 years
Yeah.
ago because his car kept rolling back and he couldn't get out of it. So he had to wait for the marshals when his engine was on fire.
and everyone thought that
24,
Carlos
right?
was
24.
literally it was 23, I think, Alex.
No, I don't think it was 23. His car got caught on fire, but it wasn't Austria. It was one of the Middle Eastern races at the Middle East races.
Oh, I think I know what race
His
you're
engine
talking
just
about.
started
Yeah.
catching on fire. Then my engine is on fire, and he just got out. That was
Yeah.
he's got fired twice.
Yeah.
He's got engines he's got 3 engines blown out. Point is, you got the bad luck, but at the same time, dude, I think the guy was pushing this. I think the guy was pushing the car way.
You think Russell was?
I think he pushed it over the limit.
I think
I don't think it
both
was
of them-
a direct cause. I think Kimmy could give more. To be honest, I think Kimmy could give more. Look at the sprint. How much he fell behind the second time he went over the grass and slowly
and slowly
caught
creeped
up.
back up. Yeah, I agree. I think there's a part of like what we like in Charles we see in Kimmy a little bit in terms of being able to push the limits. I think the difference is that he has the car to be able to push the limits a little bit more, and he's not afraid to get up against that line. I think Russell is a more calculated and conservative driver when it comes to those things, and when it makes sense for to have that precision and that focus, I think that's where Russell thrives. But Kimmy Antonelli is showing him that, hey, this strategy that I can employ is helping me win races. It's causing me to win more often than it's causing me to lose against you, George Russell. I think the frustration for George Russell is probably at this point got to be like, what is this kid doing that I cannot do? That I'm not able to achieve.
So, okay, I'm gonna defend George a bit here, and
good luck.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, I don't have much to go on. To be fair, we've been over George's career a bit, but I'm gonna recap. George Russell came into Formula One, if I'm not mistaken, in 2019, and he was obligated to drive for Williams, which back then Williams was a
garbage team.
Somehow gets a P2 in Spa. Then finally Mercedes starts paying attention to him. Steps in for Lewis. Almost wins the race he stepped in for Lewis when he got COVID.
Yeah.
And then he takes Valtteri's seat at Mercedes. He has to literally sit in the shadow of Lewis, not to mention with a below average car.
It was a suboptimal car for sure.
Suboptimal car. And then Lewis finally announces that he's going to Ferrari. And George is probably thinking in his head, I'm about to run ship here. And lo and behold, here comes a 19-year-old who still at that point did not have a driver's license, probably sits at the TV every Saturday morning watching cartoons and eating Fruity Pebbles, and comes in rookie season, has a wonderful rookie season, and then comes in a second season, is given a literal rocket ship, and is just starting to run away with it. Finishing Canada, Kimmy Antonelli is 43 points ahead of George Russell.
It's a massive lead right now.
And here's the worst part. George dominated this weekend. And I don't mean like obvious domination. I mean, he got sprint pole, won the sprint, got Grand Prix pole, and led most of the race while he was on track. And then he just has a power unit issue and just goes kaput. I don't know if you guys saw this shot during the race, but there was a shot of George Russell behind the fence looking at his car. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, this man has put himself in jail.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you have to start thinking as Toto Wolff, like, where do I go from here? Because it's not like we're halfway through the season. This was race 5.
Yep, it's early.
But Kimmy has a commanding lead over George. And I have to say it, if Kimmy were to somehow win this championship, which I still think I really do believe that George Russell is still in it, because we are getting to a point in the calendar where Kimmy Antonelli did not perform well last year. That European leg, he did not do well in at all.
He was a rook, though.
He was a rook. Yeah. Fair enough. He was a rook.
But you're right. It was challenging for him. There was the first quick hype, and then there was like what happened to Kimmy Antonelli, and then later in the season he kind of came back to good form. But you're right. In the middle part of the season, he was like nowhere land.
I want to give Kimmy his flowers because it is incredible that he's doing these things in his second year in Formula One. However, I am going to play a bit of devil's advocate. This weekend is the most I've seen Kimmy Antonelli show rookie mistakes. And not knowing how to fight wheel to wheel. Because in no moment, if you notice this, in no moment did George Russell lose his cool.
No, he didn't at all.
And
he was definitely steady.
Cool
I will give
as
you
a
that 100%.
cucumber.
Yeah.
And Kimmy, on the other hand,
is off the road. You see him in the background just doing this.
Toto literally had to come on the radio and be like, Kimmy, focus on the driving and not the radio mode, please.
It's fourth time, I tell you.
Fourth time, please.
Yes.
Oh, I mean, come on, dude.
We'll talk about it later.
I do agree with you, and I will say the moment after the race where Toto Wolff came up to George Russell and was like, dude, you and here's the thing. Up until that point, it was an absolute blast watching those two race
100%.
It was so fun to watch. Like that was like, I'm like, oh, cool. We're back to like good Formula One racing. This is awesome. Toto Wolff in that moment, you could tell just in terms of that exchange was like, George, you were killing it. I'm sorry, dude. This sucks. It circumstantially sucks for George Russell because as we stated, in our predictions, he absolutely needed to win that race.
He did.
For his own psychological reasons,
Yeah.
needed to win that race. And now he's on the back foot again, scoring no points in the feature race. And Kimmy Antonelli gobbling up all of them like little Kimmy Antonelli Pac-Man is just getting all the points. Gobbling them all up. He's a 43-point lead at this point. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah,
That's insane.
I was thinking about that, and there's two things, right? Like, first thing is unrelated, and I'll talk about it afterwards. But the first one is like, I was thinking about how I mentioned jokingly like the 3 highlights of Canada and the 3 like best races. I was looking back at other races, and I went back to like different years, the last 5 years. Dude, Canada does not disappoint.
Never.
It's always great.
And the drivers love
it's
that
always
track.
badass.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's fun and entertaining for us. Drivers love the track. It's like the perfect conditions of a great race weekend. Honestly, the only thing that would have made it better is if a little bit of that light drizzle did come in and the track dried up, and then it just the interception of a crazy wet dry strategy. Who's coming into the pit? How quick? That would have been the only thing that could have made that race better.
You know what's good about like what J Dub mentioned about like the gearbox blowing up and stuff. Like I think it would have sucked so bad if that drizzle would have come in like lap 10. Because you go from inters to I think mediums to like
it was mediums.
It was like you imagine he had to go back in and be like sliding around, and then no gearbox brakes. It's like that would have sucked double back. Because now they made a terrible mistake, right? That's a given. They made a terrible mistake,
right? But
the gearbox blew up. It would have blown up anyway.
It would have blown up regardless. That gearbox wasn't going to hang on that whole race no matter what break you gave it.
That was a hall pass. That was a hall pass in terms of fuck ups that the would have and should haves and could haves of later down the season, right? Like it happens. It's happened to all the cars, to the best ones, to the bad ones.
Dude, a lot of reliability issues this weekend.
Yeah. 100%. Well, I think there's been a lot of reliability issues this season overall.
There has, but we expected
and that's
that. But
normal.
The thing is like Canada, I think part of it, I don't know if part of it is the upgrades that they brought, like, but it just, I mean, it seemed like there was just you have Arvid Lindblad that didn't start. You had Norris gearbox issue. You have Russell, who's got a power unit issue.
Yeah.
There's issues across the board where you're like, why is this happening to this degree?
Mind you, George has arguably the safest power unit in terms of reliability of them all. But I mean, where do we go from here, boys? Because I see Kimmy, he's still like putting in these performances, and I know we just mentioned that he's coming up to a point in the calendar where
it's not historically has not been as favorable, but you don't know what's going to happen this year. We have no idea.
Exactly.
But even then, let's take it to the point where he won't be performing, because I mean it's really hard to win 5, 6, 7 races consecutively, right? He's already done 4. So
yeah.
Let's just say he finishes, let's call it P4, P5, P3. Unless George is winning them all, he's still going to have a 20-point lead into the post summer break, right? So I mean, it's a long season. He's got a 43-point advantage, and it's like you're really going to have to chump down on that.
And you really, I mean, even with Monaco, that could be an opportunity. It's either going to be favorable for Mercedes in qualifying or not. And if it's not, neither one of them's getting a substantial amount. And they're still going to be, they're probably going to be close to one another. But like
what you're saying, it's like it's back to the point. George would have hypothetically to have not the upper hand just on Kimmy, but on everybody else. And Monaco is a great example of that, where it might not be such a substantial advantage for it to be so fast.
I don't think it will be.
I don't think it will be either. I don't think it will be either.
Now, here's my 2 cents on the race coming up in Mercedes. What if, and I don't remember how Kimmy ran last year in Monaco, but one thing we're forgetting, boys, is that we're heading to Monaco for the first time with these new cars.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this quite a bit, especially before the season. What if we get a Grand Prix in which we could see changes for the lead outside of the pits?
I mean, that would be wild.
I mean,
that would be wild, but I think at the same time, it's going to be so crazy because I think this is probably like the sharpest slow to fast ratio changing circuits that is going to be like a constant harvesting. It's going to be like they're going to be having full on power, and like I feel it's going to be such an interesting. I think there's going to be less reliability issues and
100%.
more technical kind of, let's see how, like, we haven't been in the situation where we have so much constant harvesting of power.
Yeah, I mean, look at that hairpin turn. This is going to harvest full amounts of energy going through those slow corners.
Forget the hairpin. What about the tunnel?
Yeah,
dude, I think tunnel. I think if we see anything crazy, I think we're gonna see something for sure in the tunnel, and I think it's gonna come by a way of like cars getting really close in
Agreed.
that fucking
Side by side.
320-kilometer-an-hour tunnel.
Yeah.
It's gonna be insane.
It could actually produce a really cool race.
And if you've seen Driven, if you've seen Ayrton Senna videos, if you've seen like modern onboard, it's literally, remember that I forgot the motorcycle, the racing, the street racing motorcycle movie where he does like
the town.
He does a tunnel, and it was like Morpheus played the like the badass Morpheus from.
I know.
Oh, you're talking about something boys. What's it called?
Yes. That he sees a tunnel that like it blurs
it
out.
opens
He just like, it opens up and just like.
That's the one with Kid Rock in it.
Yes.
Biker Boys.
Yes, Biker Boys, dude. That's
That movie's
exactly how that tunnel feels. And it feels like I've never really seen two cars as close there because it's just not prone to it. But with these cars, I think that there could
close it up a little bit.
Could close it
closer.
up in that and on that part, just because of everybody's gonna have a weird kind of like power deployment advantage after harvesting so much. It's just gonna be, dude. It's my favorite race of the year, but on top of that, I'm excited.
Kind of makes me nervous.
You know what? I'm excited.
I'm excited, dude.
Every year when we come to Monaco every season, and I think about the tunnel.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember as a kid those like really old square TVs? And how when you turn it on, it would static into this massive white screen, and it would hang on there for quite a bit.
Yeah.
That's what I imagine getting out of that tunnel must be like for all these drivers, because it's all dark, and all of a sudden it's a massive beam of light.
They still have those TVs in Honduras, right?
Yeah, of course they do. Are you kidding me?
Are you
joking?
Guys,
be for real.
I think it's been a good recap. Let's transition into the
there is one more thing.
Puntos.
We all agree on who the best of the rest was this weekend, right?
Yeah, but we
100%.
didn't talk about Red Bull.
Slow but considerable progress.
Isaac Hadjar showed rookie mistakes once again.
Yep.
I think he's
which I think we talked about and very well predicted based upon the previous race.
Yeah.
I think one of the interesting things was, and we don't have to harp on it too long because we touched on it a little bit, is Max's defense, and as long as he held Lewis to the back of him, I think was one, Alex, I agree with you, was power deployment coming out of the corners, number one, having that power to deploy in the straights. But two, you've got that defensive mindset of Max of just knew where to position that car every single time to not give Lewis the advantage. And for many, 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 many laps, because Lewis got close to him pretty quickly, but then took a considerable amount of time to get past him. And I'm thinking, and I agree with what you're saying, JW, I think incremental good steps in the right direction for Red Bull. And I'm thinking in 5-6 races, Red Bull's going to be right back. Well, I would say Max Verstappen. I won't say Red Bull in general, but Max Verstappen's going to be right back up in that podium mix consistently.
No, and also you have to take into account, we're heading to some tracks where
it's Max's favorable tracks.
Yeah, we're going to Red Bull Ring, Silverstone, Hungaroring, Spa. We're going to Zandvoort for the last time until further notice.
So good,
This season is shaping up to be such a banger, man. And going back to the whole best of the rest thing, I don't think we need to harp on it for too long. We're all in agreement. It's Colapinto, right?
Colapinto.
That kid needs to drive down Buenos Aires more often. Because ever since he did that show run, he's eaten Gasly up. And mind you, Pierre Gasly had a good weekend too. It's not like he had a bad weekend.
I can't believe Gasly couldn't get past Lawson. I'm like, is Lawson doing really good or Gasly just had any more in the tank?
I think it's a bit of both. I think Liam is a very defensive driver and Gasly's a really good attacking driver. But at the same time, when you have a fast-moving object going to an immovable object, that's what you're going to get.
Yeah, he was so close. If you look at the time, he was so close to him so many times. within 0.3 of a second, half a second, consistently for lap after lap after lap. I'm like, and I'm of course I don't have the onboards going, so I'm just watching what they're showing us, which was I think at that time the battle between Verstappen and Hamilton mostly. But I'm like, I'm watching like, okay, Gasly's getting close again, Gasly's getting close, and then all of a sudden it opens up to 0.7, and I'm like, what is happening at that part of the track?
I love the theory, JW, when an unstoppable force means an immovable object. So like really good defense, but really good offense,
Really good
kind
offense.
of offset each other.
It's actually a good point.
Kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
to
it
be
And
honest.
definitely makes sense.
and listen, to be fair, you see it a lot in Formula One.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, for
anyone
sure.
racing against Max, that's essentially what it is.
Can we also say without, and we'll leave it this and we'll go into the points because that'll be quick. Can we also just agree, please? Because I feel like there had been a noticeable disagreement when I made this point last time when we were predicting drivers. And I felt like, although I believe JW picked Lawson, you picked Lindblad.
I had a good feeling.
Alex, but
too.
can we give some credit to Lawson?
Yeah,
I will
doing
gladly
good.
throw him his
Yeah,
flowers.
the only reason I don't give him more credit is because
You don't like him?
No, I
He's
don't
got weird
dislike.
teeth.
He does, but I don't dislike him. I don't dislike. Arvin Lindblad looked good in practice.
Agreed.
He did.
Looked good
He
in
looked good in quali.
qualifying.
Yeah.
Looked good in sprint.
Yeah, I think they would have been really close to each other. Candidly,
and
I
mind
think
you-
throughout the race result, they would have been close.
We made this
Unfortunate,
whole
dude.
point. Arvid's never raced in Montreal before. So I was
Well,
very
and guess
impressed
what?
with him.
That continues.
That continues. yeah.
All
right,
right,
Let's
Corey,
get to
points.
the pointos.
Let's get into the points. All right, so this week what we did was we did driver head-to-head, which I'll be honest with you guys, I like doing the driver head-to-heads. I feel like we've got to do this more often.
I
like
didn't.
this as
Not
like
this
a,
weekend I didn't.
Well, yeah. I mean, none of us did great because of DNFs and circumstantial things, except Alex did pretty good. He cleaned up on some points towards the end. But just in terms of which candidly I hate. I hated that so much. That really pissed me off. It didn't piss me off that you got the points. It pissed me off that it was just a roll of the fucking dice.
He can't keep getting
What?
away with
I
this.
I told you. Go play a clip. I have a strong feeling that
That's a feeling. It's circumstantial.
That Checo
It's a roll of the dice.
is
A strong
not
feeling's a roll of the
going.
dice.
That is a terrible pick for a DNF for a guy that was showing progress every single race.
That is true. That's
and
true.
he was en route to fight for like a P12, dude.
Nah.
He was
Whatever.
on it.
yeah.
You forced me to pick Stroll, and I'm upset about it.
Dude, you had the
Should have picked
easy-
Alonso.
That was the easiest pick.
Can we talk?
I was upset because like I thought that was a vetoable pick. Lance Stroll hasn't
No, but
finished
we didn't talk
one
about
race
vetoing
this
for this
season,
one.
dude. Vetoing should always be in place. If something like, hey, the guy that has never finished a race this season, let me
Hey.
pick that one.
Hold on, JW, let's start a coup. Here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna veto Alex every single time.
Yeah, I'm down.
We have the veto
Honestly.
power.
It
He already
doesn't matter.
does that.
Corey,
It doesn't matter what I pick,
Corey,
so I get no
I
points.
want you to insert a clip of what's his name? Aaron Paul's character in Breaking Bad. I need a clip of he can't keep getting away with this thrown in here.
I'll throw it
somewhere.
in. I'll throw it in.
Jesus,
Um,
man.
All right, we'll start with top teams first. So we'll start with Mercedes. I was the only one to pick Antonelli. Both of you picked Russell as
Yep.
the feature race winner, so I got 3 points there. You guys were both awarded 0. As we move to Ferrari, we all picked Leclerc. Boy, did we get that one wrong. We were all awarded 0 points. Myself and JW picked Norris, and that kind of play. Dude, the whole DNF thing just completely fucked me on this. I had so
Same.
many good picks, and it just ruined me. Alex, you picked Piastri, who didn't have a great race result, but that got you 3 points. We all 3 picked Verstappen. That was a no-brainer, 3 points there. As we move to Alpine, I picked Gasly. I got 0 points. JW picked Colapinto, got 3, and actually, Alex, you picked Gasly, so you
Yep.
got 0 as well.
Yep.
Haas, we all picked Ocon. Why? I have no idea, because Ollie
Nope.
Bierman did look better than him throughout
Never
the entire
again.
race. Never again. I'm
He
only
should
picking Bierman.
actually be booted.
He should be fired.
His shit stinks, Pepe Le Pew.
We actually, Williams, Alex, and I picked Sainz. We each awarded 3 points. JW, you rolled the dice on Albon, which I know you said was closer to 50-50. You were awarded 0 points. Racing Bulls, JW, you and I both picked Lawson, awarded 3 points each. Alex, you picked Lindblad. He did not start the race, 0 points. Audi, here's a good one. We all picked Hulk, and actually both of them raced fairly well, where
Yeah.
they finished P12, P13. But Hülkenberg obviously etched out, even though he spun out in the middle of the track.
He
regained.
did. That was
Yeah.
wild.
He was considerably far ahead at that point. So I think he only lost like 5 seconds, and he was still like 15 seconds ahead. It was something pretty substantial. But Hülkenberg got us all 3 points with that one. Aston Martin, boy, did we fail there. We all picked Alonso, which would have been the obvious choice, but he DNF'd. We are all rewarded 0 points. As it came to Cadillac, what a bammer. JW and I both picked Perez, which would have been an obvious choice. And actually, I will say, and we didn't talk about Bottas, maybe we'll talk about it for the next episode as we do our predictions for Monaco. Alex, you picked Bottas, you got 3 points. Now, the wild card question was, if we picked that no driver, if I remember this correctly, if no driver DNF'd and we picked that no driver DNF'd, we would get 3 points. If we picked a driver DNFing, we would have to guess who the correct driver was, and you're awarded 30 points. But if you guessed someone was going to DNF and you didn't get the driver right, you're awarded 0 points. Am I correct in that?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So here we go. I picked Stroll. God, boy, did I want him to just do something stupid at his home Grand Prix. He did not.
Yeah.
J-Dubs, you were so close, but from a technical perspective, Lindblad was
Unfortunately
did not start. And
had
that's a
he
bummer.
had he tried to get his car going, and
I know. I was thinking he was going to because
and
Alex,
that would have that would have happened in laps 1 through 3.
Yes,
That's the
and
worst
Alex,
part.
I didn't remember that you picked Perez, but I remember JW picked Lindblad, and I go, no, JW's going to get 30 points. And then I remembered that.
I
then
knew
I
it.
remembered Alex picked. There would be a DNF. He picked Perez. He picked correctly. There's 6 DNFs total in that race.
Yeah,
I
middle
think it was
of
6 or
the
7.
middle of the race, I was like, dude, I don't know why I picked Perez, but I mentioned, if you go back to the episode, I swear I'm not making this up. Go back to the episode, and I mentioned I have a bad feeling about Checo.
Yeah,
I have a
you
really
did. I
bad feeling,
remember.
and I'm like, I don't know, maybe I was wrong. Hey, good for Checo. He's up there fighting for a P12. 2
Nope.
seconds later, I was like,
Dude, no,
I
can
knew
we
it.
talk about his DNF?
I knew it.
That has got to be one of the coolest DNFs I've seen. His car went straight up ka-chow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like that
it's crazy.
wheel went straight up ka-chow.
And where it did it, he just went straight out.
Yeah.
No, dude, you see,
It was
that's the
weird.
thing,
It
though.
was
I was so
But like
pissed
he went
off.
straight out where he needed to, so there was like a 2-second yellow
the
flag.
yellow flag was like nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I listen. Here's what I'm gonna say. about
just like
these
Norris. His gearbox blew
Yeah, no,
out,
same
and he
exact
went
thing.
straight
just
out
went
of the
straight
track
to the
section.
yeah.
Yeah, but dog, why like? And this is why I hate virtual safety cars, because like, yes, it still gives you a solid shot at like a decent pit stop, but we had 6 DNFs, boys, and
Yeah,
none of them
no safety
triggered a
cars.
safety car,
I
like
know.
a full safety car, and I was
One
so
did. One did.
No, it
No,
didn't.
no,
There
they
was
were all
only virtual
VSCs,
safety
dude.
cars. When
Well, but
I
There was
When
there
I
was a
came out
there
and
was
said-
a full VSC for one of them where some cars bunched up and some cars did pit.
Yeah, we
There's a
just
full
didn't
VSC.
have an actual safety car come out
Yeah.
to lead
Yeah.
the driver's pack.
yeah, it was all
virtual safety
VSCs.
cars.
It was
Yeah.
all
Which
VSCs.
I was kind of shocked given where some of those cars sat. I was like, man, no safety cars deployed. I thought that was a little weird.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. But anyway, in points totals, this week I ascertained 15 points, JW 12, Alex 45. So Alex has a pretty commanding lead. Alex is currently at, and I didn't want to say it because it makes my blood boil. He's at 131 points. J-Dubs, you are at 36 points total, and I am at a total of 43. So commanding lead by
Dude.
Alex. Alex is essentially Kimmy Antonelli right now.
It's
J-Dubs,
giving
you and I
Max
are
2023 all but one race, dude.
one race. I know you're killing us, and I keep telling myself it's a long season, but you just keep getting the 30 points. So I'm like, fuck. But I hope everybody who's listening to this liked the driver heads-to-heads. I really enjoyed the driver head-to-head picks because I think being more informed as far as like reliability of the cars, driver settling in, getting an understanding of the tracks. I think there's so much more that goes into those picks. I really like that, and I want to continue doing that going forward. I thought that was best. I like the wild card questions too at the end. That gives us bunches of points. But I thought that was really fun. It was an excellent race to watch. Canada, as we said, never disappoints. And with that, let's conclude the episode. We will have our predictions for the Monaco Grand Prix coming up. But appreciate everybody listening. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. You'll find us at YouTube's Podium Sessions podcast and all the socials, TikTok, Instagram, and we all have our personal
TikTok.
Instagrams as well that you can find as well. So until next time, enjoy. We'll be back to you guys soon.
Peace.
Later.